Hey there, it's Gary Parrish. It's Sunday, March 27th, 2022. Welcome back to the CBS Sports Eye on College Basketball Podcast, where we sometimes discuss camel fighting, dodo birds, and leaky black. Matt Norlander's here with me. And if you're watching live on YouTube, please smash the like button like you're Brandon Davies.
There we go.
You have consent. And if we get enough likes on this video, and let me just level with you guys, all right? We can make up some number if we want to. We're going to give away the stupid Paramount Plus card no matter what.
No, don't give it away like that.
Okay. So, just don't make me try to trick you. If we get to 200 likes, then we're going to give it away no matter what. But it would be awesome if we got as many likes as we could get because it impresses our bosses. So if you're here watching on YouTube, smash the like button like you're Brandon Davies. And eventually we're going to give away a $100 gift card to one of you to Paramount Plus, which is your place to stream NCAA tournament games, the NFL Champions League, PGA Tour, and some of the best films and shows being made right now. Among them, Halo, which is streaming exclusively on Paramount Plus. So just shout out in the comments, Larnell or Leaky Black or Huck the Dog or Dodo Bird, whatever you want. Doesn't matter to me. Leave your Twitter handle, Instagram handle, whichever, with your comment. And if you win, Nada will contact you and hook you up. Let's get into it. After Duke and Villanova punch tickets to the Final Four on Saturday, two more teams did it Sunday. Both games were blowouts. Kansas was first, 76-50 victory over Miami, and then North Carolina, 69-49 victory over St. Peter's. Rest in peace, Peacocks. Moment of silence. Moment of silence. They had a good run. Norlander, let's start with Kansas, Miami. What a wild game. Jim Laranaga's Hurricanes were actually up 35-29 at the half. Then Kansas outscored them 47-15. 47-15 in the final 20 minutes. They won the game by 26. It was the largest margin of victory in any Elite Eight game since 1992. That makes sense of Kansas, what it did to Miami in the second half of today's regional final.
You're asking the wrong fellow, my man. Your boy flew Delta back across the country. No option to watch this game on the plane. None. I got about 6 minutes worth of watching, waiting to get my bag at JFK. And by then, the game had been decided. I might have to lean on you for this one. I was following as best I could. I was trying to track, but the way that this game lined up, and then the Wi-Fi not being the greatest, unfortunately, on the flight, I saw hardly any of it, to be honest, but I was like, ooh, are we actually going to have Laranaga join Coach K? A couple of 70-year-olds going to the Final Four? Nah, not quite. Kansas got the job done there. Obviously, if you're watching on YouTube, you can see the stat box broadcast. Courtesy of Nada. By the way, I feel like we haven't done this in a while. So
I know it's like you. I feel like we've been cheating on each other. Like we decided to, open up our relationship a little bit. Sure. And I'd get together with David Cobb, and then you get together with David Cobb, and then I'd get together with Strong Jaw. You might get together with Strong Jaw. But now we're back together to see if we can work through it.
And every single time, Nada's just watching us from the corner. That's what makes it weird.
A lot of it makes it weird. There's a lot of stuff in there that makes it weird, but that's part of it, undeniably.
I got to be honest, though. I was thinking about it last night when I was in San Francisco. I'm like, thank God we did this, because it would have been not impossible to podcast last night. I missed all the column writing and HQ and all this stuff. So thank you for help, picking up the slack. Obviously Cobb and Boone big time. And then, you got your occasional night off too. It's nice just to break it up. But
one. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, I'm sorry that I've been assigned the Coach K farewell tour duty. I do very much feel like you in terms of all the jet setting, but we will be together in person at the Final Four. If anyone listening is planning on going, by the way, there is a plan to do, I think, at least one of these on an HQ set. Plans to be determined, but we will have plenty more podcasts. I hope I get to see Parrish at least once in New Orleans, but we know how that also sometimes goes. So
we'll see.
So we'll see. Kansas gets the win in going away fashion. And how about Remy Martin? So the one thing I can give you on this is I did look up what Martin had done going into the tournament versus what he's done since. So he was averaging 7.3 points and shooting 44% from the field. Obviously, he was a bit player, and that was something of a plot twist after what we thought he might be to a certain extent going into the season. Since Remy Martin's averaging 17 points, shooting about 54% from the field, he was named the Midwest Regional Most Outstanding Player. Ochai Agbaji actually hasn't even had like an Ochai Agbaji game through 4 games for Kansas, as far as I can tell. And big time doings there for KU to get the win. Also, like, if you're a Kansas fan, you're down in the first half. We understand. Bill Self actually has, I'm pretty sure I saw this. I think Bill Self still has a losing record in the Elite Eight.
Oh, it's not even close. Before today, he was 3-7 in Elite Eight games. So now it's 4-7.
Exactly. So the point is, like, Kansas fans, you've been in that spot before. You thought, oh my God, here we go again. Are you kidding me? We're going to lose to a 10 seed. We're the only one left in this damn field. Didn't go that way. Complete flip of the switch. And GP, that's about all I got. You were around and able to watch the whole game. What else did you see?
There's not much to talk about. I mean, Kansas opened the second half on a 25-7 run over a 10-minute span, and then just pulled away. Ochai Agbaji, he did finish with 18, 5, and 4, 18 points, 5 rebounds, 4 assists in this game, but he has not been great in the NCAA tournament. This was his first good game. He was averaging 10.1 points per game in KU's first 3 games through the bracket. David McCormack added 15.4 rebounds in this one. On the Miami side of things, Sam Wardenberg fouled out. Jordan Miller fouled out. Miami finished 3 of 21 from 3. They ended up turning the ball over 14 times, which might not sound like a lot to some fan bases, but they only had 7 turnovers in their first 2 NCAA tournament games. Like, they really are great at taking care of the ball, usually, but not so much against Kansas. So Miami was, like you said, up at the half, and I'm sure Kansas fans were concerned, but boy, the Jayhawks were just shot out of a cannon in that second half. And I don't know what's crazier, like to score 47 points in 20 minutes against Miami, or to hold Miami to 15 points in 20 minutes. I mean, but they did both in the same half. And so Bill Self is now in the Final Four for the 4th time in the past 14 NCAA tournaments. And he just continues to add to what is a remarkable resume. 59 years old. So he's still got, a decade to coach if he wants to, maybe more. 59 years old. He has 20 conference regular season titles, 10 conference tournament titles, 4 Final Fours, 1 national championship. And what's interesting, and I'm going to write a column about this a little later on tonight after we get done here. There wasn't a single day in this season where Kansas was ranked number 1 in the country in the AP poll or the coaches poll. Not a single day in the country when they were number 1 at KenPom. Mm-hmm. I don't think there was a single day where anybody stood up and said, you know what? I think Kansas is the best team in the country. People said it about Gonzaga. People said it about Duke. People said it about Baylor. People said it about Auburn. People started to say it about Kentucky, which won by 1 million at Allen Fieldhouse. I don't think there was ever a day where somebody stood up and said, I think Kansas is actually the best team in the country. And yet, now here we are. And Kansas is the only number 1 seed left in the NCAA tournament. Kansas is the highest rated team at KenPom left in the NCAA tournament. And I haven't seen the updated odds, but based on everything I just told you, I would assume that Kansas is the favorite to win the 2022 NCAA tournament, but you're shaking your head now.
First of all, Cinderella Jayhawks? Is that where you're going with this? Cinderella Jayhawks?
The Cinderella Jayhawks.
Now, I don't know if I think it's still going to be Duke. It was Duke going into Sunday. I would think that it will but you could be right. What's KenPom right now? Right now, Kansas had a Duke. Yeah, you might be right. I kind of feel like
Hey, let's make this a rule. You can't correct me unless you know I'm wrong.
Well, no, actually it's more fun if I try and correct you and then I am wrong anyway. That's more entertaining. Do you have the number?
I'm trying to look it up now.
I feel like because it's Duke, it's going to be maybe they'll be maybe they'll have the same number. Although, yeah, Carolina just finished recently. We might not have it. I'll say it's Duke. That's my guess.
I'll say it's Kansas because Kansas is going to play a Villanova team in the Final Four that is shorthanded, and Kansas is ranked highest among the Final Four teams at KenPom. If you're curious right now, it's number 4 Kansas, number 8 Duke, number 9 Villanova, number 16 North Carolina.
Put up the poll. I want to see what in the YouTube chat. Nada, who should be now? Who do you think? Who should? Because you're right, it will be a shorthanded Villanova team, but Villanova is also higher seeded and higher in the metrics than North Carolina. So I don't know. Should it be Duke or should it be Kansas? Either way, they'll be.
Let me stop. Here's what I would say. I think it will be Kansas. I think it should be Duke.
Okay. I think it should be Duke. I think it will be Duke. Well, what do I care at this point? But yeah, KU moves along. Great job by Bill Self. You mentioned he's at his 4th Final Four overall. Kansas now has made 16 Final Fours. I'll have some factoids on all the Final Four teams once we actually set the table on that. But great one by Miami and Jim Larinaga, getting to that program's first Elite Eight ever, and Larinaga, making it to the second weekend for the 4th time in his career. What more can you ask for if you're a Miami fan? Just a wonderful job getting there. You had life through the first half. It didn't go your way. Blue blood wins out, as was the case in every single regional final. And oh, by the way, if you were wondering, was that an aberrationally bad set of regional finals? Yeah. Shouts to Kevin Paga for this. He said at 60.6 points per game, this year's Elite Eight was the lowest scoring average since 1985. I think 85, they didn't have a shot clock, or if they did, it was 45 seconds. That year, it was 58.4 points per game on average for the 4 regional finals. This one, again, 60.6, the lowest since then. None of them were overly close. You had a little bit of drama late in the second half with Duke and Arkansas, a little bit. And then you obviously had Miami give an intrigue through the first 20 minutes, but then it was a blowout. And then, as we'll get to here, unfortunately, St. Peter's clock struck midnight, and it struck fast and with a fury.
The other thing that I think is interesting about Kansas, and I'm going to write about this later on, this will all be a part of the This is a little bit, if you're listening to the podcast or watching it on YouTube, like if you watch Get Back, the Beatles documentary, and you get to watch them sort of work through these songs, is a little bit like what I'm doing right now. I'm basically being Paul McCartney right now.
Oh, is that what's happening right now?
I'm basically
at that bass, buddy.
Yeah, I'm basically Paul McCartney right now. So just sort of working through it, and then you'll see the finished product, and you'll go, "Oh wow, I saw Parrish work that out."
I promise not to be George and just walk out in the middle of this podcast and disappear for 10 days. That's not going to happen.
So this is not Bill Self, and people have been saying this all year long. This is not his most talented team. And it's not his best team, but he still won a Big 12 title with it, Big 12 tournament title with it, still got a 1 seed with it. But if you go through the teams, he's obviously right now, he's got 1 national title. It came in 2008, Dozier for the championship. That team was obviously better than this team. That's the team that won the championship. But check this out. I went through it earlier today. 2010 team, probably also better than this team. Sharon Collins, Thomas Robinson, Morris Twins, Tyshawn Taylor, Xavier Henry, Cole Aldrich. That team got a 1 seed in the NCAA tournament and then got upset by Northern Iowa in the round of 32. The 2011 team, probably better than this team. It had Thomas Robinson, Morris Twins, Tyshawn Taylor, Josh Selby, Tyrell Reed, Brady Morningstar. Got a 1 seed, lost to VCU in the Elite Eight. 2014 team wasn't better according to the numbers, but certainly more talented. Joel Embiid, Andrew Wiggins, Perry Ellis, Wayne Selden, Frank Mason, Tarek Black. Embiid was hurt a lot, only played 20 games, was hurt in the NCAA tournament. They lost to Stanford in the round of 32. 2016 team, possibly better, had Perry Ellis, Frank Mason, Wayne Selden, Devontae Graham, Landon Lucas. Got a 1 seed in the NCAA tournament, lost to Villanova in the Elite Eight. And the 2020 team was definitely better.
Definitely.
Had Devon Dotson, Udoka Azubuike, Ochai Agbaji, Marcus Garrett, Isaiah Moss. The team finished number 1 at KenPom, but then the NCAA tournament was canceled because of the dumbest pandemic of my lifetime. Oh, by the way, Kansas, the last team to finish number 1 at KenPom besides Gonzaga. Here's what I'm saying.
Okay.
This really might not be, this team Bill Self has right now, one of his 5 or even 6 best teams at Kansas.
I think that's the case.
But it could be the team that brings him his 2nd national title, because sometimes things just set up nicely for you. And this is one of those times. Let me walk you through it. And I know you know all this stuff, but still, it's interesting to hear it just sort of one after the other after the other. In the round of 32, Kansas got to play a Creighton team down multiple starters. So they won that one. Then, Sweet 16, they play a Providence team that was ranked outside of the top 30 at KenPom. Elite 8, they play a Miami team that was a double-digit seed and ranked outside of the top 40 at KenPom. And now in the Final Four, they're going to play a Villanova team that just lost its second leading scorer, Justin Moore, to a torn Achilles. Villanova announced earlier today. So, listen, it doesn't guarantee anything. Villanova could still beat them or they could still lose in the title game. But sometimes things just break your way. And that is so clearly the case for Kansas in this NCAA tournament. Now, we'll get to see if the Jayhawks can take advantage of it.
You're absolutely right. Sometimes it just breaks your way, and that's the case that's been here. Credit to Kansas for also getting through the way that it did, but it wound up just playing out the way that a lot of people said on Selection Sunday, which, is already 2 weeks in our rear view. My goodness, that was fast.
How about this? When I was at the very beginning of this podcast, and I'm like, hey there, like an idiot, and I said, it's March 27th. And that I was like, it's March 27th? That seems outrageous.
It is. It's absolutely outrageous. I can't even believe I'm sitting talking to you the way I am right now in Connecticut. I woke up, I don't know, whatever I did in San Francisco. Air travel. It's an amazing thing.
I love watching you get so stressed out. I'm like, I was talking to one of our bosses like this. I'm like, Norlander is stressed out right now. And
when? Like on the pod?
No. Like, no. Like you would it's just been a hard week for you. You were in Greenville and then you come home and then 2 days later you're at the San Francisco and then you had to come back home. And I could tell you were getting overwhelmed. And I was like, I've been doing that for 3 months.
Not the same. You have, but still not the same. I mean, just between,
Hey, on top of everything you're doing, throw in studio nights till 1:30, a top 25 and 1 every morning, and a radio show 5 days a week. Throw that in there.
Can't throw the paycheck in there, though. Anyway, okay, so the Elite Eight that we just had, here's a letdown on it. Highest combined seeding, 23 if you added up all the seeds. Obviously, Peters was a big factor in that. And yet, despite that, we didn't have much chaos at all. No chaos, really. The top 4 teams wound up winning, which is good for the sport overall. But I was wondering if we were going to get, usually we get at least one good, real tight regional final. Just did not wind up happening there. And so I watched the beginning of the St. Peter's, North Carolina game in my Lyft ride home. I called my mother and I said, I texted, I said, are you home? She said, yeah. So I called her, FaceTimed, God bless her. Her and my dad were watching. My dad had money on Carolina covering the spread. So he was all too thrilled to see. I think it got out to a 9-0 Carolina start. So I watched the first 6 minutes of this game from over FaceTime, just watch it. Plus they wanted to say hi. So it was a way to, 2 birds, 1 stone, that whole deal. But man, I could just immediately was like, is this really going to go this way? And it did.
The second Elite Eight game on Sunday, it was a blowout, basically from start to finish. Final score, North Carolina 69, St. Peter's 49. Finally, the Peacocks looked like a 15 seed. They shot 30% from the field, 25% from 3, down 19 at the half, lost by 20. I was pumped for that game. Listen, I was pumped for both of them. They're Elite Eight games. But if you told me, all right, you're really tired, you have to nap and you're going to have a late night. So you got to nap during one of them. You got to be healthy. You got to nap during one of them. Is taking a nap healthy? I'm not sure.
Yeah, oh, absolutely.
Okay. You got to be healthy. You got to take a nap during one of them. Which one you want to take a nap in? I would have said Kansas, Miami. I was more interested in seeing if St. Peter's could, make this a game leading into 60 minutes on America's most watched network, the Network of Stars. And the game it felt over immediately. Are you surprised that it wasn't even competitive?
I actually am a little surprised it wasn't competitive. On the show with Cobb Friday, we both picked St. Peter's to win because we were drunk on that Peacock, man. We were drunk on it. And I went with it. And I was like, you know what? They've gotten to this point. No 15's ever gotten there. Carolina's an 8 seed. it's going to be the last Sunday game on CBS. Yeah, why not? I did actually think it was going to be competitive. Unfortunately, this is the way that it normally goes with the Cinderella team traditionally in that second round game. Very few make it to a Sweet 16. So occasionally you'll get it in that Sweet 16 game. And then this was the first time really ever that you had a true small school Cinderella. Obviously, 15 had ever made it to a regional final. And it's an obvious bummer, nothing you can do about it. I just wish it would have been more competitive. Carolina came ready, was good to go, and played a wonderful game, and clearly quite eager, confident, and ready to get that rubber match against Duke in the national semifinals. But for St. Peter's, just a few notes here. One, I mentioned this on the pod. I'm sure you did as well. But Shaheen Holloway's had the Seton Hall job for like weeks, so that has now actually been reported. I think whatever that means. It's been done forever, but he's going to get the Seton Hall job, and good on him. He absolutely deserves it, and he has helped author one of the greatest NCAA tournament runs and probably the greatest Cinderella run ever. If you want to stop short and say, they'll make in a Final Four with a Mason or a Loyola Chicago, I'll buy that. That's fine. But this is a 15 getting to an Elite Eight. Like when I was thinking about this game earlier in the day on the flight back, I thought, okay, are we going 25 more years and not seeing this again? It's a 15, man. They've been seeding this thing with 64 teams since 85, and it took until 2022 to have our first 15 win 3 games. We might not see this again. We really might. I'd love it if we did, but there's no guarantee of that. So I was hoping because of that, we would at least get something that was fairly competitive, and it just wasn't whatsoever. 69-49. St. Peter's did not shoot well whatsoever. It was 4 of 16 from 3-point range, 4 of 14 from 2-point range. It was just 0.75 points per possession overall. Again, Carolina, great job, but it was we've seen this script play out plenty of times before. And you know what, though? And I think you'll agree with me on this, Parrish. Doesn't really matter because they made the Elite Eight. They were St. Peter's. Everyone got to know what this school was about, where it was located. Eli Manning adopted this team. The damn New York Jets adopted this team. The country adopted this team. And this was a school that you couldn't, 99.9% of sports fans couldn't have told you the St. Peter's mascot prior to 2 weeks ago. And 99% of fans couldn't have told you that St. Peter's was located in New Jersey. So the fact that this school really tapped into so much of why we love this tournament, why to me the NCAA tournament is the greatest event in all of sports, because it gives you a historic top 3 program ever like North Carolina playing on the same stage with little old St. Peter's, which ranks 192nd in all-time wins. Carolina's top 3 in that category. St. Peter's is 192. If it had defeated North Carolina, St. Peter's would have been 827 and 827 as a program. Now it's 826 and 828. Just awesome stuff. Just awesome, man. Don't know when we'll get it again. We'll have Cinderellas. That's a reliable feature. But a 15 to do this, when we look back 3 weeks from now, and specifically 5, 10, 15 years from now, we're not going to lament the fact that St. Peter's laid an egg in the regional final in Philly against North Carolina. We are going to remember that St. Peter's looked like bosses knocking out 2-seed Kentucky in overtime on that first Thursday of the tournament. And then we're going to remember that it played a great game against a Murray State program that has helped kind of define and really set the parameters for elite mid-major play really throughout the decades, if you really look at what Murray State is. But in the context of this season, was the winningest program heading into the tournament. And then it took out a Purdue team that the more I thought about that since it happened, Parrish, is like Purdue fans got to be beside themselves. They got no business losing to St. Peter's the way it did. Like Kentucky, I kind of the same, but like, all right, it happens. We've seen 15s beat a 2, but Purdue, the region broke for them perfectly. You got all this size, you got all this shooting, you got Jaden Ivey. You've got Williams and Edey, who didn't play together. I'm not going to relitigate this because we did on the Friday pod, but it's still like, it's even more baffling the further we get away from it that Purdue did not beat St. Peter's. But again, that's the awesomeness of this story. So is it a bummer here and now that it wasn't close? Yeah, I would have liked it, but that ultimately will not matter. What will matter is the fact that it made it to the Elite Eight as a 15 seed, and that charm of the tournament will always continue to endure. And this has become one of the more memorable runs literally in the history of the event.
St. Peter's is a forever story. It'll be one, like anybody who listens to this podcast regularly knows that I'm not great at like remembering. Remember that thing that happened in 2006? Yeah, not really. I think St. Peter's has made enough of an impact where I and everybody who cares or watches this sport at all will remember St. Peter's. Them being the Peacocks actually helps. If they were just the St. Peter's Tigers,
I agree with this. I 100%.
It wouldn't be the same thing. They're the Peacocks. Like that helps. Doug Eddert helps.
And so does his mustache.
His mustache is a part of it. Their coach, everybody knew throughout this, was headed to Seton Hall. He'll be a Big East coach. Now, everybody will always remember, oh, yeah, that's the guy that took the Peacocks to the Elite Eight, to beat Kentucky, to beat Purdue. Like, I'm not trying to catch you off guard. I'm just trying to prove a point, and you might actually be able to do this. Who was on that UMBC team that upset Virginia? Can you name a player?
Not anymore.
Right.
No.
Yeah, I can't think of one name. Last night, I made the point, like, I can't even remember what their mascot is. And I think we settled on, do you know it?
The UMBC?
Yeah.
Yeah, the Retrievers.
We'll see other people.
You think it's Terriers.
People last night were saying Terriers.
Yep, no, it's Retrievers. They're the doggies. Yeah. They're the good fetching doggies. Retrievers. Yes, they are the Retrievers.
Well, that's what I said first, and then all the comments were like, no, they're the
UMBC
Terriers.
is 100% the Retrievers.
Well,
I mean, I'll look it up right now. But
shame on the comments.
I'm 100% confident that it's because I have a breaking T-shirt that says, "Do you retrieve in miracles?" Come on.
Well, then we need to settle this once and for all.
It is. I just looked it up. They're the Retrievers. Jerry Lyles. Come on, I got to know that. And yeah, KJ Mora. I shouldn't.
Then why did all these people last night try to tell me they were the Terriers?
You were gaslighted, my man.
I said Retrievers, and then they said, no, it's Terriers. And I was like, okay, then it's the Terriers. What do I know? I don't know. I feel betrayed by the comments. By the way, a lot of people I see people say there's not enough smashing going on YouTube. Are there more of us than there are of them or not? Maybe there's not. Maybe you guys, maybe I got a bunch of them in here. Maybe the whole YouTube audience is a bunch of them. Have we ever thought about that? Like they come on here and they want to watch the podcast, and then there's a bunch of them. I thought there was more of us. And if there is more of us, then why isn't there more smashing going on?
There's some accusations saying that you said Terriers from the get-go, trying to rewrite history, trying to gaslight me right now.
That's not true. They're making things up now.
Oh, okay. Well, these things are literally archived and preserved in multiple formats to, I guess, fact check this.
I think these people are making things up.
Okay.
They don't smash. They make things up. I don't know if this is the audience for me. They don't smash and they make things up.
Your point on the Peacocks is 100% correct, though. The Peacock, it became a whole thing. Ben Cohen, wonderful journalist for the Wall Street Journal, even did a whole thing on the friggin' peacock emoji, which like got created on a lark, and it helped, like, it was the most tweeted emoji and all this kind of stuff. So you're absolutely right. The moniker actually is a big part of this as well. And just thinking out loud here, yes or no? Yes or no? Someone come find us in 3, 7, 10 years. Does Shaheen Holloway ever get Seton Hall to an Elite Eight? He just did it with St. Peter's.
Well, that's just hard.
I'm going to say no. Kevin Willard won one NCAA tournament game at Seton Hall. I mean, I'd love to be wrong, and Shaheen clearly is capable of doing it, but that's how these things go sometimes. He could have the point I'm making is this. It's kind of like the Chris Mack deal just a little bit. He is coming off what might actually be the high watermark of his career in terms of NCAA tournament prominence success. He could continue to keep Seton Hall in the tournament on a yearly basis. Could be awesome. But will he ever get back to this stage? Did he just complete it with St. Peter's? Would love to be wrong, but it certainly is a possibility. That's all I'm saying.
Well, it is absolutely possible that he never gets Seton Hall to where he just got St. Peter's, but I don't know that would necessarily mean he's a bust at Seton Hall. It's just not at all. Kevin Willard just got the Maryland job from Seton Hall and never went to an Elite Eight or a Sweet 16, I don't think.
Correct. He had one win in the tournament. That's it at Seton Hall.
How about the guy who's replacing Kevin Willard at Seton Hall has 2 more NCAA tournament wins
and 3 times as many? Yes.
yeah.
It's absolutely wild there.
Let me ask you this: do you think Seton Hall fans are happy? Right. I mean, usually when you lose your coach to a bigger school, You're not happy. You're like, oh man, I can't believe that guy left. Our Seton Hall fans like, hey, well, this is great for us.
It's they're absolutely. I mean, he played there. Okay, he played there. Just did what he did at St. Peter's. Willard. It's not like they're like it's not like they're like get the hell out of here, Kevin, or anything like that. Because Kevin actually, if you really look at what he did over the course of his tenure at Seton Hall, he was fairly successful by Seton Hall traditional standards. Except there wasn't a lot of tournament success. And we'll never have that 2020 to know. Seton Hall could have been a Sweet 16 team in 2020. We'll never know, though. But, yes, I think they are more satisfied with the situation they are about to officially inherit in the next 24 to 48 hours than had Willard still been there.
So let's talk about the team that actually won the Elite Eight game.
Well, listen, we got. I agree, but we also have all week. We had to at least, put a bow on St. Peter's.
Of course.
It was a wonderful deal.
Of course. Could not be happier for Hubert Davis. I was thinking about this earlier. For about 3 months now, we've been talking about how wild it is that Tommy Lloyd's going to go to the Final Four in his first year as a head coach. Turns out it was actually Hubert Davis. Back up 2 months. Let's see if I can try to convince you. Deadleg, it's not going to be Tommy Lloyd going to the Final Four in his first year as a head coach. It's going to be Hubert Davis, idiot.
How about that? And this factoid, they said it on the broadcast. The only other coach to do this, to play in the Final Four and then coach the same school to the Final Four. I'm going to say this slowly. Dick Harp.
Dick Harp.
Kansas. Kind of wild. Hubert Davis has done it, and he's done it his first season. Here are the coaches that have taken teams to the Final Four.
He's no Dick Harp, though.
He's no Dick Harp. That's right.
Like, hey, congratulations and all, but don't start comparing yourself to Dick Harp.
No, not at all. By the way, not Richard Harp. We're going Dick Harp. That's his name. Final Four coaches in their first year running a program. You want a trivia time this?
Yeah, Final Four coaches, first year running a program. How many?
We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9.
God.
Davis is the 10th. How about this? We got 9 of them. Can you give me 3 in 6 guesses?
Yeah. One, Dick Harp.
Dick Harp did not do it in his first year. That's guess.
Son of a, how did Dick Harp not do it? How did Dick Harp not do it? Who was Dick Harp up against? 2-year-old Tony Hinkle? I bet 2-year-old Tony Hinkle got him. Probably in a round of 32.
Man, he was up against Booty Drum.
Bill Guthridge is obviously one. That's easy.
Bill Guthridge is 1, yes.
Steve Fisher.
Excellent. He's 2. You got 3 more guesses to get 1 more coach.
Made the Final Four, first year as a head coach.
I feel like one of them you should get because I've referenced this coach multiple times on the pod because of something. I don't want to spoil it, but yeah, I've mentioned this other coach for reasons similar to this on the pod this year. Don't look at the chat. I'm not even.
I'm not. I want to say it's not Jim Herrick, is it?
It's not Jim Herrick. That's 2 for 4. 2 more guesses.
Is it Roy Williams by chance?
It is not. One last guess.
First year as a head coach. It's not first year at a school. It's the first year as a head coach.
That's right.
You sure it's not Dick Harp?
Not Dick Harp. Couple big names on here.
I guess I probably got to go at this point. Tony Hinkle.
You lose.
The list is Larry Brown.
Oh, God.
Denny Crum, Louisville, 72. Bruce Drake in 39 at Oklahoma. Who doesn't know that? Good old Brucey Drake, right? Steve Fisher. Bully Gilstrap at Texas back in 43. We can't get through 5 podcast episodes with bringing up old Bully Gilstrap. I can't believe you didn't get that one, my man.
Bully Gilstrap?
Bully Gilstrap.
His man's name was Bully Gilstrap.
We've got a Dick Harp and a Bully. You're not getting this anywhere else. I can't emphasize this enough. You're not getting Gilstrap and Dick Harp references anywhere else. You're welcome. Guthridge, the coach I was referring to, Bill Hodges, because he, along with Tommy Lloyd and Guthridge, are the only ones to get a 1 seed in their first season as a head coach. Gary Thompson at Wichita State in 65, and good old this coach's career always fascinates me. And in fact, he ties into another factoid with this year's Final Four. Ray Meyer at DePaul did it in 43, and Ray Meyer is now tied with Mike Krzyzewski for the longest gaps between Final Four appearances, first and last. Both Krzyzewski, he got there first in 86, and now we have it in 2022. So you've got that 36-year gap, and now that's exactly what Myers was when he went in 43, and then back into the 70s, into the 80s with DePaul. So pretty cool deal overall. Those are your first-year coaches to make a Final Four. Hubert Davis has done it. It's damn incredible. There was an awesome moment on CBS when Jamie Erdahl was interviewing him, and he was overcome with emotion. Players all around him. This tournament is amazing. It's incredible, and the fact that less than a year, to the day, it's been less than a year since he was officially hired at UNC. He has taken this program to the Final Four. I don't care how he got there. Yes, sometimes you get there because the bracket can break your way. Whatever, I don't care. Carolina fans, you have yourself in a Final Four yet again, and you've done it in the first year under Hubert Davis. UNC has now made 21 trips to the promised land, to the biggest stage in the sport. That's more than any other in history. UNC has 21, UCLA has 18, Kentucky has 17, Duke and Kansas tied this year with 16 appearances apiece. They stayed knotted, but it is UNC with the most all time, and Hubert Davis has done it. That's really, really awesome and a big story, and of course, we know what awaits.
On January 23rd, North Carolina was 12-6 with 4 losses by at least 17 points. Lost to Tennessee by 17, Kentucky by 29, Miami by 28, Wake Forest by 22. After the Wake loss, Tar Heels dropped to 43rd at KenPom. And then on February 16th, lost to Pitt, dropped to 49th, season low 49th at KenPom. Since they lost to Wake, they're 16-3. Since they lost to Pitt, they are 10-2. And if you go back to January 23rd, which is the day after the Wake loss, I believe. If you go back to the day after the Wake loss and run the data, did I ever tell you I figured out at barttorvik.com how to pick dates and run data based on very specific dates?
Mm-hmm.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
Thing to learn how to do. Mm-hmm. So next thing I'm going to learn how to do is how to properly put in a pocket square. But anyways, one thing at a time.
That's right.
One thing at a time. So if you run the data from the day after the Wake loss to today, barttorvik.com has North Carolina as the 12th best team in the country. So low seeded team, sure, because they did a lot of damage to their resume before they got rolling. But again, 16-3 since losing to Wake, 10-2 since losing to Pitt, and in the Final Four. And you're right, seeing Hubert have that moment with Jamie in the post game, he was almost at first trying to get her to talk to the players because I don't think he could talk.
Yeah. He was overcome. It was an awesome moment. That's exactly what was happening, Parrish. Yeah,
because it feels a bit like a cliche because everybody says this about Hubert, but he's genuinely a nice man. That's why it got a little uncomfortable when he was getting blown out game after game, and especially that Kentucky game in Las Vegas, CBS Sports Classic, looked like his team they weren't competitive. They didn't even compete. And it was a really bad sign. We talked about this earlier today on Bracket Breakdown on CBS Sports Network. It was perfectly reasonable to start wondering, did North Carolina get this right? I mean, we can all say it was too early, but when you inherit a program with Armando Bacot and Caleb Love and RJ Davis and the great legend Leaky Black, and your preseason top 20, and then you're getting blown out by not by 14-point blowouts, 29 to Kentucky, 28 to Miami, 22 to Wake Forest. And you're a first-year coach. It's completely reasonable to go, oh man, I didn't mind the idea of this when they did it, but what do we think about it now? Completely reasonable to have questions. And to see that man go from that to this is just awesome, awesome stuff. And yes, he was overcome by emotion. And he has consistently said what he said today. Like after every good thing that's happened to that team in this, impressive run over the past however many weeks, like I'm happy for them. I'm happy they get to experience this. I'm happy, like I've done all this stuff. I'm happy they get to do this stuff. You come to North Carolina and you assume this is going to be your life. And after last season, their coach retires, and then this season did not get off to the greatest of starts. But all's well that ends well, so they say. And now Carolina's in the Final Four.
In the Final Four for a 9th straight decade. Carolina made it in 46, then again in 57, made it 3 times in the 60s, twice in the 70s, twice in the 80s, the 90s. Well, that was the big time. 5 times there, 4 in the 2000s, twice in the 2010s, and now obviously in the 2020s. No other program has ever done that before. Also, Hubert going, obviously we'll get deeper into the Carolina Duke game specifically on Pods later in the week. We'll touch on it in a second here overall, but I kind of love that, Coach K's on the last train out and Hubert's just getting to the station. His first season, he's in a Final Four. K's last season, he's also going to a Final Four. Carolina, Kentucky, and Kansas, the last time they were all in the Final Four together was 91. And it would have been Duke versus Carolina in the title game had Carolina not been knocked out by Kansas, coached by Roy Williams that year in 91. So a lot of cool numbers, coincidences, factoids, if you will, across the board with this kind of stuff. Overall, I tweeted out this number just in terms of the selling points of this Final Four. There are so many, right? Duke Carolina on its own is just, you could fuel the sun for another 6 billion years with that. But Kansas is your all-time leader in conference championships, 63. It's got 3 national titles, 16 Final Fours. It's number 1 on the all-time wins list. It actually just passed Kentucky this weekend. They're neck and neck, and Kentucky being out of the tournament, Kansas has just nudged past them, and what will be a race to attorney for all-time wins, I would think. Carolina and Duke are actually not that far off the pace as well. And then shouts to Temple, which is 5th on that, by the way, which is always an amazing stat. Temple is top 5 in all-time wins. We love the Owls. But anyway, so that's all the Kansas selling points. Carolina, 21 Final Fours, more than anyone, more NCAA tournament wins than any other program. It's at 130 now, I believe it was, 130 or 131. It's Carolina. The selling points are quite obvious there. Mike Krzyzewski, he's here for the 13th time. That's more than any other head coach ever. Duke is, the preeminent program in the country. This is its 16th Final Four, 5 national titles. What more do you want? And then Nova, it's not as historically great as us, but I maintain that Villanova is a blue blood program at this point. It's gotten back to a Final Four. This is its 7th Final Four, 3 national titles. It's got 2 since 2016. It has more tournament wins at 20 since 2016 than any other program there. And it's just maybe if you subbed out Nova and put Kentucky in, I get it. If you even subbed out Nova and you put in a Louisville or an Indiana, or a UConn, but that's about it. The list of schools that you can put into a Final Four that have such incredible prestige historically, recently, in a contemporary sense, Parrish. It's really, really awesome. I sent out that factoid with that tweet with all those factoids. And, people, Twitter's just weird, man. Like, if you're one of these weirdos that is like, I can't stand these schools, I won't be watching, you're lying, or get a life, or get over yourself. I would have loved to have covered Duke versus St. Peter's. That would have been phenomenal. I would have embraced that entirely. Give it to me. Can you imagine? But Duke Carolina is unbelievable. And Kansas Villanova on the other side. And Nova won't have Justin Moore, so that's going to debilitate them to a certain extent. But this is, come on now. This is awesome. In fact, you can make the argument that the tournament played out just about as perfectly as, the people that are invested in these things could want it to turn out. I know Nada was outright rooting for this scenario, but what I'm getting at is you had outright chaos, tons of overtime games. We still haven't had a buzzer beater. That's what this tournament's missing. We haven't had a true buzzer beater at all to this point. But amid all that noise in the first 2 weeks, you even got St. Peter's into the final game of Sunday, of regional final Sunday. You get all of that, but when the dust settles, you look around, and in that corner, you got the Villanova Wildcats. And in that corner, you got the Kansas Jayhawks. And in that corner, you got the Duke Blue Devils, and holy hell, in that corner, you got the North Carolina Tar Heels going to play their blood rival for the first time ever in the tournament. 258th meeting will be for the first time on this stage as Mike Krzyzewski and his retirement hangs in the balance after Carolina knocked the crap out of that team to end the regular season. Stakes are phenomenal. If you want to say this is the most enticing or appealing Final Four from a matchup and school perspective going into a Final Four ever, I think you have a pretty good case.
To circle back to your initial point, Twitter sucks, and most of the people on Twitter suck. It's a miserable place. It's an app like filled with miserable people. Like, I used to enjoy it. If you notice now, I don't tweet nearly as much as I used to, say, 5 years ago. I just don't enjoy it anymore. People are just awful. Like I tweeted earlier, the Final Four is set. It's 4 blue blood programs, 3 Hall of Fame coaches, and the schools that have won 7 of the past 13 national championships. 7 of the past 13 national championships. Hard to do better. And immediately, it's like, this Final Four sucks. I won't watch it. Like, what kind of person even replies to that? Like, if somebody tweeted, the Final Four of the Stanley Cup Finals are set. It's Edmonton and the Predators against. I'm struggling here.
Well, you're saying the finals, so that's 2 teams. You're trying to squeeze. People don't realize actually at the NHL level, you need 4 teams in a Stanley Cup final. People don't realize that.
The Final Four of the hockey playoffs, whatever they call it.
This the Stanley Cup.
Okay.
NHL playoffs, and then the Stanley Cup.
So it's Edmonton against Nashville. I don't even know if this could work. Just play along. You'll get the point. And then it's the Penguins against the Blackhawks. And it's the 4 most prestigious franchises in the NHL. Hard to do better. Like,
hockey Twitter's coming for your ass, man.
I just wouldn't even respond. If I didn't think so, I just wouldn't even respond. I just keep it scrolling. You know, I don't even like what makes a person want to jump on there and go, I won't even watch this Final Four. Like, what makes you do that? Like, have you ever stopped tweeting and just looked at yourself for a second and been like, what makes me just want to shit on everything? Like, what makes me miserable like that? I mean, people are awful. I just can't stand them. I don't understand them. Like, I don't spend any time commenting on things that I don't care about. Like, if I see somebody on Facebook or Twitter or anywhere else be like, oh my God, America's Got Talent was amazing tonight. It has never occurred to me that I could jump on there and go, I've never watched it. Seems like it would suck to me. Like, I would never, like, why do people do that? Who cares? Like, some guy was like, in my opinion, this Final Four is boring. I'm like, who cares about your opinion? Just shut up. Nobody cares what you think. You want to. Here's what'll show you the people care about this Final Four, and it's going to be awesome. Is the television ratings will reflect that. Now it'll be on TBS instead of.
It was. By the way, if it was CBS,
right, it would be
out of here with that North Carolina game. It'd be insane. Yes.
Yeah, it's on TBS, and this is just a fact. More people have access to America's Most Watched Network, like 30 million more people.
It's America's Most Watched Network.
It's the network of stars, and it has an potential audience of about 30 million more people than TBS. So the numbers won't be what they would be if it were on CBS. But when you compare this to other TBS Final Fours, what you're going to find is that this one does really, really well. I do want to walk you through the start times and the point spreads. We're going to do that in a second. Really late getting to this. I apologize, Nada. But first, a word from our sponsors.
The covenant will not stop.
There is something within us. Something sacred. Something worth protecting. Silver King, on me.
So here's how we're going to do it on Saturday, 6:09 p.m. Eastern, Kansas against Villanova. It'll be followed at approximately 8:49 p.m. Eastern by Duke, North Carolina. Like, once Duke won on Saturday, that was set. It didn't matter if it was Duke St. Peter's, Duke North Carolina. Duke was going to be in the nightcap. Coach K, I saw some people complaining. You're not going to believe this. I saw some people complaining on Twitter. And they were like, of course Kansas has to play the early game. Well, yes. It's not because of conspiracy against Kansas.
Hey, that was a wrap the second that Duke won.
Right. It's not some conspiracy against Kansas. It's Coach K's final season, and it's the Duke Blue Devils. They could be playing St. Peter's or North Carolina. It wasn't going to matter. Duke was always going to play the late game. In fact, CBS and TBS Turner announced it even before the North Carolina St. Peter's game was over. It was just like, hey, here's what we're looking at. Kansas Villanova first, and then Duke.
I think it was before that game tipped.
It might have been.
I think it was middle Miami, Kansas. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. So listen, Duke was going to be in the nightcap. There's just no getting around that. And the opening lines are Kansas -4.5 over Villanova, Duke -4 against North Carolina. So, if things go as they're projected to go, the national title game should be Duke against Kansas, Mike Krzyzewski against Bill Self, two of the biggest brands in the sport. Kansas now the all-time winningest Division I men's basketball in the sport. And obviously the storyline going in is going to be everything. Like if you were offended Kansas got the early game, oh boy, you ain't going to like the rest of this week, because the focus is going to be largely on Duke Carolina. But the big development from the weekend that will actually impact what happens Saturday is Justin Moore at Villanova in the Elite Eight. In the final minute of the game against Houston, ruptured his Achilles. Villanova confirmed today. And I think we all knew that. If you watch it, it looked like every other Achilles injury we've ever seen. And then afterward, Jay Wright, I don't know if somebody asked him if something was broken or if he just volunteered. Nothing is broken. But he said, there's no broken bones, but it's not good. And obviously, your Achilles is not a bone. So it was never going to be a broken bone. It was always going to be a ruptured Achilles, and it's confirmed. And it was just a sad scene because, you dream about that moment all season, even before the season. Like, man, we're going to go. If we go to the Final Four, what's it going to be like cutting those nets on our way to the Final Four? And then your second leading scorer ruptures his Achilles in the final minute. And you have to contrast this scene of like joy with tears, because it's like really like he's on the sideline devastated. He knows, like players know when that happens to them. Yeah. And he knew that was that. And sometimes you see a guy get injured in the first half and he's got a little time to, comprehend what happened, come to terms with it. Still upset, but like you're not in shock anymore. This happened at the very end of the game. So as they're celebrating cutting nets, you're still like, he's hurting. His teammates are hurting for him. And, now they got to go play, Kansas without their second leading scorer. Count Villanova out at your own risk. But obviously KU is favored for a reason. And, it's going to be hard to beat that team shorthanded. And obviously it's not impossible, but it's more difficult now than it otherwise would have been.
In the business, we call this a Pyrrhic victory. That is a victory but at the cost of something significant. And obviously losing Justin Moore is a significant loss for Villanova. Averages 15 points, 4.8 boards, 2.3 assists a game. And it's not that Villanova can't beat Kansas. It can. And we'll get into more. Like, I don't even know who I'm picking to win either of these games, let alone against the spread. I don't have that yet. But GP did toss out the lines. If you're curious, those have already obviously been posted, and we'll get into that more later this week. But yes, no Justin Moore is highly significant. That being said, I'll be honest. The 4 teams that are in this Final Four, the one program that is best suited to overcome this is actually Villanova. Not to say that it will, but I'm just telling you, Villanova is the one program that I can actually see being like, yeah, and then they still won the whole thing anyway. They didn't have their second best player, and they still won the national championship. So we'll see on all of that. As it so happens, none of these teams have depth. I mean, UNC has its Iron 5. Duke plays 6 or 7. Kansas isn't deep whatsoever. And then Villanova is now down to literally a 5-man rotation. I mean, I guess Brian Antoine will get a little more burn here, but Kansas was playing 6. It was playing 6 dudes. Caleb Daniels was coming off the bench. Now he'll start. That's what we got there. So, I guess, Villanova's somewhat built to handle this somewhat, but he is a key loss, and that will certainly be something to keep an eye on. That'll be that game will be interesting in terms of, and again, we'll get more into the game later. And we got all week to talk about this, but I'm waiting for Ochai Agbaji to show up and be dominant, which leads me to this as a reminder to you, Parrish. You probably are on. Maybe you did it already. I have not, but tomorrow morning our All-America and Player of the Year, Coach of the Year, Freshman of the Year ballots are due to our bosses at CBS. As always, we will vote. The Elite Eight's done. The Final Four has not been played, and this is when we vote. We take the sum of the tournament, not all the tournament, into account, plus the regular season. And, Agbaji, to me, did not necessarily leapfrog himself into the first spot for National Player of the Year. He will be a first-team All-American. I would be stunned if he's not a CBS Sports first-team All-American, because I'm going to have him on there, and there's no case against him at this point as far as I'm concerned. His team's in the Final Four. But, had he been amazing the past 4 games, he maybe would have had a case against the likes of Oscar Tshiebwe, Johnny Davis, Keegan Murray, and the like. But I don't know if he's done that. I'm going to really actually have to look over this heavy tonight and figure out who to put first, second, third team, and who to put in order for Player of the Year. But in that game in particular, I do wonder if Agbaji on that big stage against Villanova, if he winds up being the dude or not. That'll be one of the bigger storylines for me, at least in that game, if not the whole weekend.
On when it comes to our All-America teams, I don't really think this NCAA tournament changed much, because most of the Player of the Year candidates got knocked out early. Oscar, Keegan, Johnny Davis. Ochai advanced, but didn't really play well. Now, he did have 18 in this Elite Eight game, but he only was averaging 10 points per game in the previous 3 NCAA tournament games. So I'm assuming whatever my All-America team would have been before this tournament started, that'll be what it will be when I put it together tomorrow morning. Oscar Tshiebwe will be my Player of the Year.
All 3 teams, though? All 3 teams?
Oh, God, I don't know. I haven't thought about it.
Well, I'm just saying, there's some love for Baycott right now, third team. There might be something. I don't know if I'll have Baycott on the list or not, but that's a great example of I don't think he's on it at the end of the regular season, but now, yes, he'll be under strong consideration.
Yeah, that's fair. I was talking specifically about the first team, but sure, we'll look at it. And Baycott has obviously done well for himself in the NCAA tournament. The one thing I said last night, and then we'll get out of here, is that I think coming into the NCAA tournament, my Coach of the Year would have been either Tommy Lloyd or Ed Cooley or Scott Drew. I think when I turn in my ballot on Monday, in fact, I know it's going to be Kelvin Sampson. Okay. Kelvin Sampson will be my National Coach of the Year. He finished higher in the AP poll than he started, finished higher at KenPom than he started, and did this despite losing. You might not have heard this before, but follow me. 2 of his top 4 players, including his leading scorer before Christmas. You could say, yeah, but it was just the American. Yeah, he just won the American in the American tournament. So what? But then he beat a Big Ten champion to go to the Sweet 16, and then beat a Pac-12 champion to go to the Elite Eight. Lose 2 of your top 4 in December, still win your win your league title, go to the Elite Eight, beat a Big Ten champ and a Pac-12 champ. You're my National Coach of the Year. I
haven't decided. He'll be in there. Cooley, Tommy Lloyd will also be in there. Scott Drew deserves to be in there. Hubert Davis beat Scott Drew, got to the Final Four. Now there's actually, I don't know if I can remember a more crowded race for National Coach of the Year. So it will be, it'll be intriguing to see who wins it at cbssports.com. If you're curious, our votes are due Monday. And then I believe we run this the Thursday of the Final Four. So I would think that that's going to go out, or we do it on 2 different days. So the Coach of the Year, Freshman of the Year, Player of the Year, that'll be one day. And then our All-American teams, first, second, third, will be another day altogether. As we wrap, 2 things. 1, I fly to New Orleans Wednesday. When do you fly?
I'm not flying. I'm driving.
Oh, nice.
I'm
going to say 5. I'm going to say that's 5 for you.
It's right at 5 from my house. And this is wild. I don't know why this is. I don't believe there's certainly no Delta, and I don't believe there's any direct flights from Memphis to New Orleans. So what am I going to do? Memphis to Atlanta, Atlanta to New Orleans. I can door to door, get in your car and then get out of your car when you're at the hotel. It's quicker to just drive than than flies. I'm going to wake up on Thursday morning, and we have a production meeting at middle of the afternoon. And I'm just going to drop Thursday. I'm going to drop Thursday morning.
And it's a little bit of a drive, but dude, I take that every time. Cause you when you the next day, the Tuesday after the title game.
Yep.
You're on your own damn time frame. You're not worried about getting to the airport crunch. That's huge, man. That's a big win for you this year.
Yeah. But can we go ahead and make a deal?
What's the deal?
If Quinn texts and she's trying to do that 8 Eastern.
I'm flying out. I don't know what you want for. I'm a Tuesday flight out of there, buddy.
No, well then, no, that is no way. I'm not doing that again. I'm not doing the because it'll be 7 a.m. Central.
I have to
on Tuesday morning.
You're gonna have to pod. I gotta write the title game column. Got to do all that. You got the top 25 and 1. You're gonna have that thing in the can by Saturday night.
So stressed out about the top 25
so free
and 1.
And clear of that. All right. Okay. I just wanted to give our audience a heads up because we can't podcast Wednesday. I'm going to be traveling. I'll be leaving and doing stuff in that morning. So we can either do our next pod from New Orleans, which will be tricky because then you leave Thursday, or we got to do one like Sunday night it is Sunday night. It's Sunday. Hello. Tuesday night. So I don't know. You want to decide right now in real time? Nadi, you want to get in here?
I was about to say, you forgot. I will be joining you guys. I am flying at Wednesday at 11. So it's going to have to be Tuesday night.
Are you good with that, GP?
I can do Tuesday night, sure.
We'll talk about whatever we got to talk about.
No, I don't. Not late Tuesday night. I'm talking Tuesday night, like shortly after radio show's over.
Shortly after radio show's over. So
I'm talking Tuesday night, 6:30 Central.
I mean, yeah. 6:30 Central.
That's perfect.
Yeah. So 7:30 Eastern, 6:30 Central, Tuesday night pod, and then once we are on the ground in New Orleans, first of all, Nada's going to be there, incredible, and again, we will have plenty of podcasts for you, but I don't know the rotation. I know a couple of them I think are supposed to be quote unquote live. But I don't know how that's gonna I think it's gonna be from like the CBS Sports HQ set, and so I don't know if you want to come say hi. Parrish loves that, please do. But I don't know when those are happening.
I actually do like they'll make it out like I don't like to meet people.
I wasn't.
I do. I love meeting people.
That's what I was saying. You do. I was saying you do. Absolutely.
Can't wait to meet people.
Abso-freaking-lutely.
My problem is I don't like the people that I know. I love meeting new people. It's the people I know that bother me. New people, they got a fresh start with me.
That's true. Yeah, but a lot of those people are also the people on Twitter that you hate. So how do you reconcile that?
It's a tough situation.
Okay, last thing.
It's a conundrum.
Last thing. This is completely off topic. I did not. Dude, until 3 hours ago, I had no idea the Oscars were tonight. It was a terrible movie year for me. No idea. Had zero idea. Just saw some stuff about the Oscars. They're never this late. What's that about?
Dude, so is this bad or good? It's neither. It doesn't matter. That's the answer. I haven't seen one movie nominated for Best Picture. Not one.
Let me look at this list right now. I haven't even Oscar Best Picture nominees. Here we go. All right, let's see what the list here is. They are Don't Look Up. No shot. Nightmare Alley, never heard of it. Belfast, Get Out of My Life. King Richard, I've heard of. I tried to sleep on the plane today. If not, I might have given that a go. Coda, I'm out to lunch on that. Dune, I did not watch, but I'm mildly intrigued by, but I have not seen Dune. Licorice Pizza, I'll watch that at some point. I have enough people whose opinions on movies I respect that like that. West Side Story, not involved. Drive My Car. I like the Beatles song. And then The Power of the Dog. I have not heard of this, but it's got Cumberbatch. So yeah, I'm over as well.
I started Power of the Dog, started Coda, and started King Richard. Fell asleep within 10 minutes of every one of them. Not because they stunk, just because I only start things when I'm like, I'm going to lay down and just try to watch a movie. And I immediately fall asleep. Yeah. By the time I put my head on a pillow, I always fall asleep within 5 minutes. I need to get in this habit in the off season when my schedule's more normal. Like I want to be somebody who says, you know what? I'm just going to go lay down. It's time to go to bed. And then just lay there for a little while, flip the channels and then go to sleep. I haven't done that in a long time. I work or do other things until when I put my head on the pillow, I'm out almost immediately. Got to work on that, I think.
Yeah. Yeah, you do. Let's
who are we giving the Paramount Plus cards to?
Yeah. There we go. We got that.
Yes, we are giving it to Myron Goodman, longtime listener of this podcast. He has won thanks to the randomizer that we use. So, and also one
tell me more about tell me more about the randomizer.
What's the randomizer?
I have a nice little randomizer that, again, it's in another browser. Everyone that types in hashtag more of us or whichever hashtag I choose, I throw it in there. I do it twice to make sure that first person that gets 2, they win. That way it's fair. That way it's fair. I try to do it fair.
I just always assume you just pick somebody.
Oh no.
That's what I would do.
I don't want.
I just figure you're just like, I'm that.
No, I can't do that. That's just mean. I want to at least be fair.
Yeah. I'm not trying to be fair.
One other thing.
Yes.
The college basketball hipsters on Twitter, they're like the IPA nerd that we all know and loathe. Those that hate this Final Four. You are the scourge of the earth, and I hate each and every one of you. Enjoy this.
He's trying to one up your disdain right now, GP.
Yeah, like, first off, I don't even understand how you could look at that Final Four and go, "Oh, this is gonna suck." Like, it's 4 awesome programs with 3 Hall of Fame coaches. It's the programs that have been at the top of the sport, more or less, for the past decade and a half. Like, what is not awesome about that? And then, like, but I leave open the possibility that maybe you in particular, like, I don't really care about this. Like, if just there's somebody out there. I also understand what makes you want to comment on it that way. I don't get it. When everybody else is like, ooh, this is going to be awesome. What makes you? This would be my challenge to everybody out there. If you're one of those people, at some point over the next couple of days, do some soul searching. Do some soul searching and try to go, okay, I heard about this Final Four. Everybody was excited about it, it looked like. But then I wanted to tell them how much I think it's going to suck. What makes you do that? What makes you want to do that? Let's try to figure that out. And then let's try to work on it. Is that fair, Deadleg?
It's fair. Let's get out of here. Shout them. And you got to shout the 2 classic coaches in this episode. Who were they?
Dick Harp.
That's right. Dick Harp and
Slimwood Guthrie.
Bully Gilstrap.
Bully Gilstrap.
Texas 43. Bully Gilstrap.
Son of a.
He was kicking. What's the Baylor coach's name? He was kicking his butt in 50. Classic Baylor, the Baylor coach.
Bill Henderson.
There we go.
Holy crap. Have we gone the whole season without shouting out Bill Henderson?
We might have. So I
haven't thought about Bill Henderson in so long.
Yeah. Bill Henderson, Bully Gilstrap. They don't make them like they used to.
They don't make them like they used to. Shouts to Devin Downey. Shouts to Chester, South Carolina. Shouts to Robert Thornton. 6'3" legend. Averaged 2.6 points, 22 games for Baylor, 1998-99 season. Shouts to Larnell. Thank you guys once again for listening. Eye on College Basketball Podcast. Middle of the dumbest pandemic of my lifetime. If you're not subscribed, please subscribe anywhere you subscribe to podcasts, including Apple and Spotify. 5 stars at both places, and we need nice words at Apple Podcasts. Why? Here's why. Keep it simple. Because there's more of us than there are of them. There is. It's more of us. They're not going to make me feel bad. They'll try to make me feel like I'm in the minority here. I know what's up. Not going to trick me. There's more of us than there are of them. If you're not subscribed to the YouTube channel, go F yourself. You should have done that by now. Seriously. Been talking about it for a long time.
Let's go.
If you're still here and you haven't smashed the like button, also, double bird to you. You've had an hour. That's awful participation. We're going to talk to you again on Tuesday night. Till then, take care.